Any comments on the alleged allegation of your connection with Jeffrey Epstein?
Boy, if a smile could tell 1,000 words. Look at that creepy grin right there. Doesn't that just say it all, folks? Let's zoom in on that grin right there. Oh, Bill, you deceptive, lying ass degenerate. We all know the truth. Why don't you just come out and say, don't you think you would have a lot more respect for the ex-president if he just came out and said, you know what? Okay, I did it. I regret it. I'm sorry. I guarantee you. I mean, even though it's absolutely awful, and yes, he should face prosecution, I mean, he would at least have a semblance of dignity before he shuffled off this mortal coil. Am I nuts? Let me know. So I found that earlier footage that was taken during the campaign trail where President Clinton was campaigning for Democrats. And if you recognize that individual with him, that was the same sort of advisor, press, PR guy who told Hillary Clinton and everybody to stop everything because Representative Boebert published this photo by Benny Johnson on X, and it got everybody up in a little tiffy. So Bill testified today in front of the Oversight Committee in a private closed-door deposition. In his opening statement, which to me and my knowledge, he's committing perjury, he essentially said that I don't know anything about Epstein. I was never with him. I never took photos with him. I never hung out with him. I never went to the island. When all of that is just exorbitantly, egregiously untrue.
Well, we know he was on the plane, not only on the plane a couple times, multiple times. He traveled internationally with Jeffrey Epstein, and he was on the plane called the Lolita Express because it supposedly had a bed in there where Jeffrey Epstein had young girls. He has been a friend of his, a continuing friend of his for years and years. Contrast that with Donald Trump, who hasn't spoken to him in many years, over a decade, after he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago for bad behavior. So that's the difference there.
Now, that's not what today's video is all about. Today's video is about a bombshell moment that literally just dropped. Former President Bill Clinton testifies under oath that President Donald Trump was not involved with Jeffrey Epstein at all. Watch.
President Clinton said, that's for you to decide. And the president went on to say that the president, Trump, has never said anything to me to make me think he was involved, and he meant with Epstein. So I know there's a lot of curiosity about President Trump. I thought that was an interesting thing that President Clinton said. So I'll let the Democrats have the podium and they can answer your questions. But
So you've got Hillary Clinton, who gave her deposition yesterday, lied in front of everybody in her press conference afterwards. Representative Nancy Mace, I did a video earlier on this, said she was screaming, she was unhinged. It was a long deposition. She threw her husband under the bus. And then they interviewed Trump earlier today, and he says, I'm not happy about this whole thing. I've got nothing to do with Epstein. I'm completely exonerated. And then we just get this absolute bombshell breaking news. James Comer right there, just in case you didn't hear him, he said again, I want to make sure that I quote him accurately and correctly. He says, Trump has never said anything to make me think he was involved in Epstein. So he wanted to obviously get that out as soon as possible. We're supposed to get more videos, more transcripts. I really wish this was a public, open hearing. I think the American people deserve it, but it's not. It's closed. It's private. Hopefully there's no redacting, quote unquote, and hopefully there's no editing and doctoring, etc. But as I get more footage, as I get more videos, I'm going to be sharing that with you and divulging you. You'll be the first to know. I always give you the scoop first. And that will be happening forthwith. Now, I want to share another email that I've covered before that further confirms and complements what Bill Clinton just said to James Comer and the Oversight Committee today in the deposition, as well as a video, in my view, is the most incriminating, not only on the Democrats, not only on the Clintons, but it is absolute confirmation. An ABC reporter caught on a hot mic admitting that the network said, no, you can't talk about this. And no, you can't talk to any of the suspects, any of the victims, etc., etc. They killed the story back in 2019, 6 years ago. Stick around for that. I promise you won't be disappointed. So I think this is really, really important to note, okay, that the Democrats have been crying Epstein, 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 even though they had the House, the executive branch, the judicial branch for 4 years before. They didn't say anything. They didn't cry anything about Epstein. They threw everything at Trump, including sham trial, including trying to debank him, trying to assassinate him, trying to discredit him, throw 4, 5, 6 major federal charges, RICO charges, all of them dismissed. He beat all of them. Every legal expert on the planet, including myself, said they were completely unfounded, miscellaneous, out of the blue, ridiculous charges, right? They just wanted to call him a convicted felon. And then they started crying Epstein, Epstein. Now we know for a fact that Hakeem Jeffrey Epstein, that's his new nickname. It used to be Hakeem Nobody's Dream, begged Epstein for money. Stacey Plaskett took actual advisory text messages during a hearing for Michael Cohen, former disgraced Trump attorney. He's a disgrace, period, Michael Cohen. During that hearing with Michael Cohen, she was getting text messages from Jeffrey Epstein. I did a whole video on that. By the way, I've got a whole playlist on my YouTube channel. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment, show notes, and description if you want to go check it out. But tons of Democrats, Bill Clinton, 17 times invited Epstein to the White House, 26 times flew on the Lolita Express, had Ghislaine Maxwell at his daughter Chelsea Clinton's wedding. We've got photographic evidence of that. You should literally be calling this not the Epstein files, but the Clinton files and the Democrat files. The only evidence of Trump at all, who is mentioned a lot because there's a lot of people mentioned. Being mentioned means nothing. I mean, Elvis is mentioned, Marilyn Monroe is mentioned, John F. Kennedy's mentioned. A lot of people are mentioned. Mentions mean nothing. Democrats make this big deal. You got Joyless Bahar on The View saying he was mentioned 30,000 times. A lot of people were mentioned. But the only actual documentation and proof in the Epstein files all points to President Trump blowing the whistle, President Trump being his arch nemesis, and nothing connecting. I mean, nothing. Even Lee Wexler, who I did a video, was questioned by Ghetto Crockett, said, no, Trump was never, I never saw him with Epstein, never saw nobody. And now you've got Bill Clinton exonerating him. This is the email I wanted to share with you where an ex-police chief, just to kind of, because we can forget, an ex-police chief says Trump told him, thank goodness you're stopping Epstein. This was back in 2006. I want to just kind of show you this again. You can see the highlighted portion. This is back in 2019, October 18, 2019. He said Epstein was disgusting. Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative. Quote, she is evil, and to focus on her. This is the police statement. Trump told that he was around Epstein once when teenagers were president. Trump, quote, got the hell out of there. Trump was one of the very few and first people to call when people found out that they were investigating Epstein. That's it, folks. And now you got Clinton today saying this. I would say this whole Epstein thing was a huge backfire. When Trump called it a hoax, he wasn't calling the victims a hoax. You see, this is another ridiculous Democratic talking point. How could he call it a hoax? He's calling it a hoax. He's afraid. He must be in it. What am I going to do? They're such petulant children. He wasn't calling what Epstein did to young people, what he did, which I can't even give it the right nomenclature and verbiage without, they're going to take the video down. But you know what he did. He did a lot of island nefarious things, right? He wasn't saying that that was a hoax. What he was saying is this targeted, unfounded prosecution by the Hippocrats was a hoax. And now we've got the proof to completely back it up. And even today, Bill Clinton, not a friend, not an ally, with all intents and purposes, probably an arch nemesis, just said Trump had nothing to do with it. Cleared his name, vouched for him, when his wife threw him under the bus only yesterday. Again, here's the real question here. Here's the real question. Why didn't you guys demand with this kind of energy and conviction the release of all this stuff when you had control of the entire government, the House, the Senate, the executive branch, the president, and practically the judiciary as well. Why all of a sudden now? Because they really had nothing to gain. And what I'm about to share with you right now is just more proof and more confirmation that when the Democrats don't see an end to their means that benefits them and their narrative, they don't give a rat's ass. Here is a video where ABC anchor Amy Robach caught on a hot mic. I've played this before in other videos, but a lot of you haven't seen it. I know a lot of you haven't seen it. This is the most damning proof that just shows the Democrats don't care about the victims. They don't care about actually helping people. They don't care about actually serving, which is their oath of office, that they are public servants here to serve you and me, hardworking, law-abiding American taxpayers. They only care if the narrative serves them. And this woke corporate press media apparatus has been their ally. There's actual stats that prove over 90% of stories related to Trump are negative. Vice versa with the hypocrites who have done nothing, absolutely nothing. Name me one Democrat accomplishment. One thing. You've got Kamala Harris endorsing Jasmine Crockett in a Texas primary. Nobody can name for me one accomplishment. What is she going on? She's going on hating Trump. What does she stand on? What are her values? What is her strategy? What are her initiatives? What are her policies? Hating Trump. That's it. Wait till you see this video. This video is confirmation of everything. I'm very excited to present it to you because it just proves they do not want to help anybody unless it helps them first. But before I do, I have to talk about our sponsor, Chapter. Speaking of a lot of nefarious things going on, Medicare is fraught with fraud, confusion, corruption, and so many other egregious things. That's why I have partnered with Chapter. They are a free service, independent, unbiased, super helpful, intelligent, understand the pure definition of value, unlike the Democrats, and they have helped scores of our listeners. Check out this testimonial from one of our viewers who said this was the most honest Medicare call I've ever been on. Good, honest information. They answered all my questions. Thank you, Professor Nez. And this viewer right here said, Professor Nez, thank you for mentioning Chapter. I called them and now I'm saving $1,000 a year. I'm going to leave the number. You can also go to askchapter.org/Nez. I'm going to leave everything in the show notes, description, and in the pinned comment. But if I were you, if you know anybody or you yourself are not sure if you're on the right Medicare plan or kind of confused by it all, call this number, 656-218-0931. Again, it's free. Imagine having professional, honest, unbiased, like these people could charge thousands of dollars for this, but they don't. It's free. 656-218-0931. Call them right now and tell them Professor Nez says, hey. Okay. Now check out this hot mic. Amy Robach from ABC 6 years ago, back in 2019. This is amazing. Watch.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. I had it all.
What did you think of that video? I can't wait to hear what you have to say about that. Again, I have to give full credit to James O'Keefe this footage of ABC anchor Amy Robach, I don't know if you can pronounce that right, caught on a hot mic confessing she had the Epstein story 3 years earlier, but the network spiked it. This was back in 2019. And now with all of this stuff coming out, all of the Epstein information, maybe, perhaps just maybe, forcing two of the most powerful people in the Democrat Party, if not the world, Hillary and Bill, forcing them under oath that they are not too big to avoid the law. Nobody is above the law. And they may be facing some serious repercussions. Maybe this is why the media buried that story 6 years ago. It's very possible. I would love to get your thoughts on this and everything that we covered. Again, all of this stuff is just kind of happening in real time. I'm recording this February 27th, 2026. It is almost 6 p.m. Eastern time as of this recording. Let me know where you're joining me from too. I love hearing that stuff. Let me know what city, what state, what time of day it is, what country. You have great viewers from the UK, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, South America, North America, Europe. Let me know. I just love hearing that stuff. Trust me, I read a lot of your comments. I can't read every single one and respond to everyone. It's impossible physically, but I do my best. Let me know, please. And I will give you a response if I can, I promise. Tap that thumbs up if you love America. We're trying to save our republic. You can help by sharing and liking. It takes you less than a nanosecond. Check out these videos coming up. Here's the entire playlist, the entire Epstein playlist. Go click on that right now. I'll see you over there just in case you missed a bunch. Tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. It costs you nothing. Hit the bell icon so you never miss out. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.